This one was partially requested by Blair Sarugo about how to get specific squads to move to a location after an event is triggered, which could be so many different things. And I realized that in many of my tutorials I use this, but I've never really went into detail on how to make it happen. It just kind of flew together into the flow of the script that I was using for that tutorial. So now I'm going to show you how to do it and throw together 3 examples and how to assign different move zones, getting them to move to a different location based on things that happen in your map. So let's start moving. Okay, for map setup, we do have a little bit, and it's mostly move zones. It's mostly move zones. We got a button or two, but I'm gonna go and place the move zones down. I'm gonna do 3 examples in this tutorial. Keep in mind, it's not limited to these 3 examples. You can do this for any event, really, but I'm just gonna show you 3 different events that can make this happen. We're gonna name our move zones. We're gonna name this one Eliminated MZ, because what this first example is going to be is whenever we eliminate an enemy squad. So then once that squad is fully eliminated, our squad will move up to it. The second example, we can go ahead and duplicate this and it'll be okay. It's going to be whenever they go to whenever a player enters an area. Go ahead and make that a little bit big. And if you want, you can make the boundary show, and that way you know you're in the zone. And we're going to name this area MZ because MZ just stands for move zone. And it's just, we're going to name them based off of what example we're using. Go ahead and duplicate this again because the next example will be with a button. And what's cool about this button one is I'm going to show you that it will still function the same way with like assigning a second move zone by linking it with another one. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one again. Place this over here. There we go. Because what it is whenever I'm going to use this button, they'll go here, and then after a certain amount of time, they will go to this one. The same way as if they were spawned and assigned this move zone at the beginning. So, and it can be done the same way with this one and this one, but we're only going to do it for this one. So let's go ahead and name this one Button MZ. This one doesn't have to be named because we won't be using it in the script, but you can if you want. So we're going to name this Button MZ2. And last but not least, we need to make sure that we have a button to use for our button scripted move zone. And we're going to name this just button. And then you're going to want to make sure that you can use it over and over again if you want to. So make sure that initially unpowered is off, initially disabled is off, and one-time use is off. And then that is it. That's all the map setup we're going to do for these examples, but just keep in mind, like I said, they're not limited to these examples, and you can use any event to trigger this kind of thing, just kind of using this tutorial as a basis. So to start the scripting, let's go ahead and grab all of these and bring them into our script brain. We're not going to grab that one because, like I said, we won't be needing it. So just these 4 things. Go ahead and bring them in. Oh, I probably need to select the right script brain. There we go. Okay, we got them all selected again. Go ahead and bring them in with Y. There we go. We can set these to the side. Because we're not going to be working with them until here in a little bit. We're going to need to set up 2 trinities. Since it involves one being killed, we're going to go ahead and need to set up the declare squad variable, because you wouldn't have to sometimes as long as the death isn't involved, but there is, so we will. So I'm going to duplicate these, so we're going to need 2 sets. So I'm going to skip to the end whenever we have all of them out here. Okay, and as for the identifier, you're going to name 1 Bravo and 1 Alpha for obvious reasons. Make sure the scope is local. I got a black box again, but it's okay. It will still function right. It's just that pesky bug that likes to it likes to pester me. It really does. We're gonna name this one Alpha, scope local. Move the get squad variables down here because we won't be needing them yet. We'll set them when we come to them. We're gonna name this one obviously Bravo, and then the other one is Alpha. You know the drill. So now to start the trinities, you already know we need a events AI on squad spawned with squad label. Go ahead and plug in that like that, squad into the value, and that's all good in the neighborhood. We just need to select this as Bravo. Actually, we're going to change this because one thing I did forget, this will not be Alpha, this is going to be Charlie, because I have AI set up in my map currently that I'm using for this tutorial, and one of them is using Alpha, so I'm going to have this second squad as Charlie instead. because I don't want it to be affecting my other AIs, because then it'll break everything we're working with, all that good stuff. Let's duplicate this, just do the same thing and have this set to Charlie, and then plug and play like so. Hey, it doesn't give me a black box for Charlie. That's kind of weird. Anyway, so now that we got our Trinity set up, at least the main parts that we're going to be working with until we get to these later. Now we're going to do our example that involves killing that squad off. So we're going to go on AI unit killed. And we're not going to use any of these things like on squad or 80%. It just doesn't work. So we're going to use something a little bit better, which is AI advanced, get AI unit count from squad, or get squad AI unit count. That's when we're going to use our get squad variable. And this is basically going to be Charlie's. It's going to say what we're doing is just finding out if Charlie squad has been eliminated by comparing it to 0%. Because yes, we will be going to logic compare. It's going to be the very first node, and it's going to be compare. Plug in remaining percent here to operand B, and then, or operand A, doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter here. You can do whatever. And make sure it says 0. Make sure that it checks to see if the squad has 0% remaining. And then if it does, which we'll need a branch for that, for true, make sure it equals that. Plug it into condition of the branch, and then plug in on AI unit killed. We're not using the squad here because the slip space engine Halo uses loves to delete squad data if a AI is not present on that squad. So that's why you have to use this, where it won't delete the squad value, which is weird, but that's how it works. Now we're going to go back to AI advanced and go to assign squad to zone right there, just like that. Grab if true, because you want to make sure that it's when this Charlie squad is fully eliminated. And then the squad we're going to be assigning the zone to is Bravo. So let's go ahead and set up the information to this identifier and everything, this node that we didn't set earlier, to Bravo. And then the move zone we want to move them to, we're actually going to move this back here since it will be used in multiple examples. That way it's kind of out of the way and more universal and easy to find. So anyway, the move zone we're going to move them to is our AI move zone 1, which I forgot to name. I'll go do that real quick after we plug it in here. Go ahead and name this to Charlie MZ, I guess. That's the best way I'm going to do it for now. There we go. Now we're in the right spot. And we can go ahead and test this right now, and it will work just fine. Only when we kill that elite, though, because these aren't scripted yet. So there they are. They're just chilling out. Go ahead and pop them. There we go. Yep. So there you go. And keep in mind that this really doesn't require much explaining, but just in case, they do spawn with the Bravo squad. These are set to Bravo. This guy's set to Charlie. And they are on my team, so they don't kill me. And that obviously had 4 units set to it. But that's the only thing that matters that I changed on it. So now we're going to go to scripting this area monitor. So let's go to events. This is our second example, and I'll have the timestamps in the video so that way you can get to the one you want. On object entered area. So we're going to need an area monitor, which is in variables basics, the very first node. Plug it in just like this. There you go. And we're going to want the area MZ, because what we're doing is we're turning that move zone into an area monitor that's looking for players. That's what we're going to do. You don't have to, but in this example we will, for campaign-like maps. We're going to be checking that move zone, the range that it has, the area, the volume, if what entered it is a player. And we need to get a branch for that. So there we go. Go ahead and grab this branch, duplicate it, place it here. There we go. On object entered area. Plug it in just like this. That way, was it a player? If true, something happens. And yes, we're going to be duplicating this node for each one. So set to if true. The squad will be up here that gets assigned. So Bravo is going to be the one that gets this move zone assigned to them because Alpha is dead, or would be dead, or so on. It just only affects that. And so we're going to use the same node for the area monitor as the move zone, so that way they actually go to that. And then that's it. Now when we go over here, here they come. We enter the move zone, which is a volume, which we can see, and that triggers them to move to it. You don't have to have it set to on to where you can see it, but I did it just for the sake of the tutorial, so you've seen it happening. And there's your second example. The last example we need is our button, which we're going to use events custom for on object interacted. go ahead and plug our button into that. Yep. And it's quite simple, really. We're just going to be plugging it in pretty much with just 4 nodes here. Go ahead and attach the button MZ to this, and attach this to this. Lastly, we're just going to connect it to the same node we used earlier, the Bravo get squad variable. That's it. That was all it took for the button. And that's all 3 examples, and they will all work in tandem. You can actually do all of them as long as you can repeat them. You can't repeat killing this guy, but we can. So let's go ahead and use the button just to show that it works. They're going to move over here, and the move zone over here was a little bit bigger, so that way they can actually reach the inside of it, because sometimes if you have a lot of units, they may not be able to all fit inside it, even though they stop moving, and it won't count them as inside the move zone, so it won't move them to the next one. So they moved to that one. I clearly did not link these two, but now you at least seen that it worked with a button, but now we can see that it works. I guess it worked better this way, so you can see how it works separately. They're going to go over here, wait 3 seconds, but like I said, yeah, you want them to be able to all fit in there, so that way it registers that they reached it, because they won't move to the next one unless all units have reached it. Then they will go to the second one. Alright, go ahead and pop this guy. Bam! Here they come. So like I said, yeah, you can use all 3 examples at the same time if you want, and so you can have different instances of this in your map, no problems going on. And then I'm going to walk in here, and they're going to run on over here. And I can send them back down here to this one too, by using this button. Before they ever reach this, I can interrupt them and send them to another one by using the button. And then step back in here. Here they come again. They're going to go back in there. So yeah, there you go. That is how you assign different move zones after a squad already spawns, in different ways, using different events. So that way it's all clear. And there it is. Now you can get AI to act according to the events happening around them and get them to move to specific locations due to those. I'm glad I could get another quick one out of the way, and I'll be back again soon. Is it getting hotter in here?